Little.
He's happy. He's
He's
a happy little cuddle bug. So, I was telling Kurt over here, 4 months checkups tomorrow, and he's long. He's like 27 inches long, but it's kind of like measuring a fish. Because every time I tell the story, it gets a little.
I think I did there.
Yeah, my youngest will be 8 short. He's still tiny though. He's still in the 6 months.
How long? How old?
He'll be almost 8 weeks. Still in 3 to 6 months.
Oh, he's gonna be a little guy.
He was only 4 pounds in there. That's not here.
No, that's impressive. He's a tough little dude.
Oh yeah, he was in the NICU.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Decided to save paper.
This is my first,
Yeah.
and so I'm super emotional about
You heard me right away.
That would have
About a
been.
year.
Yeah, both my
Yeah, but you got there. We spent 4.5 years trying before we got one.
Agenda's on.
You know, IVF and all this.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's 6 o'clock. I'll call the Russell County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. First on the agenda, roll call. Sheriff present.
No, it's not working either.
Mr. Russell. Present.
Sorry.
Jim.
Working on it.
I gotcha.
It's saying I'm signed in on the other one.
Oh, it's working now. It's working out. It's right here.
18 present. We have a quorum. Next on the agenda, we have the invocation by Deacon Craig Volberg, Our Lady of Sorrows Catholic Church, and the Pledge of Allegiance by Jeremy Vincent. But before Deacon Volberg does the invocation, we'll have a moment of silence for Tom Hall, Emergency Services Director, who recently passed away and was loved by many. And a moment of silence for everyone harmed by hatred and political violence.
I ask you to join together in the name of the God of your conscience, whoever that may be, ideologies or theologies. God, who is known by many names, we pause to give thanks that you are present with us. God of history, here in this room where history is shaped, we pray for all those who work here to see their tasks as sacred, to be filled with hope, creativity, and endurance. God of empathy and resolve, give us the determination that we, each one of us, will do whatever we can to help build God's dream, a world where all beings flourish. God of humility, we show us the way of the servant. Rather than being motivated by pride and self-righteousness, may we, as your people, clothe ourselves with kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Manifest in us the ability to hold in tension the disagreement of others and our own convictions with grace. God of impossibilities, pour out your power and transform the broken parts of our community and our world. Amen.
All right, you guys please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda, we have public comment limited to 3 minutes per person with a maximum public comment of 30 minutes. Does anyone wish to speak in public comment? Does anyone wish to speak in public comment? Does anyone wish to speak in public comment? Public comment is now closed. Next on the agenda, we got the approval of the minutes from August 26, 2025. We got a motion by Mr. Kudo to approve the minutes. Do we get a second?
You want to talk, Mr. Kudo?
I do.
Is it a-
There's a correction I found. Actually, I didn't find it.
Well, you have to do it after
Okay.
first and second. You need a motion first and then
All
a
right.
second.
Sorry, yours was to speak. Do we got a motion to bring the minutes to the floor? We got a motion by Mr. Biller and a second by Mr. Hampton. Now, if there's any additions or corrections.
Now can I talk? Thanks. On the second page of the minutes, the second closed session, it says open session at 10:30 a.m.
PM.
Okay.
All right, are there any more additions or corrections? If not, you can all vote on the minutes as amended. Eighteen yes, passed by majority. Next on the agenda, we have a presentation and update on the 2026 budget. Chris, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Bigham. I work for Baker Tilly, and I have been helping out the Department of Finance, I believe since February of 25. What you should have in front of you is a high overview of the fiscal 26 proposed budget as of September 30th. So as of tonight, we've had a few meetings with the departments, with the finance committee and staff, and so this is kind of a snapshot of where we are as of this evening. So I'm going to walk through the summary page, and then I've got some highlights on revenues and expenditures, and then a few other bullet points. So to start off with, for fiscal 26, the estimated operating revenues, the total proposed levy is 9.3 million. Then there's other tax collections, which are state shared taxes, that's 2.4 million. And the estimated sales tax for fiscal 26 is 1.3 million. Then there's department revenues of about 15.4 million. So as of now, the projected fiscal 26 revenues are 28.4 million. Then we move to the estimated expenditures. By department, there's a list there, and then it also includes contingencies, equipment funds, expenses related to other tax collections, and ambulance expenses, and then debt service. So the total operating expenses for fiscal 26 are about 30.3 million. So the difference between the revenue and the expenses is 1.8 million. There's $462,000 of planned use of the restricted funds. So that's like for animal shelter or for the mining fund. Those are planned uses of specific expenses for the fiscal year. So that brings the overage to about 1.4 million. And what the committee and staff have talked through is to put the use of the general fund balance set at the fiscal 2025 level. So that's the current budget right now, is there's a planned use of about 1.2 million. So as of now, this budget includes a planned use from the general fund of that identical number, the 1.2 million. So that leaves the gap as of today at 137,968. I'm not sure if there's any questions now, or if you'd like me to go through the second page and then see if there's any questions.
Go ahead and move on
All
to the
right.
second. We'll ask the questions at the end.
Okay, great. And so some of the budget notes specifically for fiscal 26 is the levy is projected at 9.3 million, and the breakdown is 6.6 for the operating levy, 1.96 for the debt service levy, and then 709,000 for the ambulance levy. The second bullet point there is sales tax is proposed at 1.3 million, and that's because sales tax collections are trending higher through June because there's a 2-month collection lag. But it's trending higher by about $148,000 compared to the current budget. The state sent us information through the research division of the Wisconsin County Association, and their specific estimate for Rusk County for fiscal 2026 is 1.493 million on the low end and 1.508 on the high end. So you still see that the existing estimated sales tax at 1.3 million is still significantly under what the state has as an estimate for Rusk County. And then all revenue estimates were reviewed by departments in finance and then adjusted for any current collection trends or market trends. So like investment income, we reviewed that. And so that's an example. We see what the rates are, and then we adjusted it accordingly. On the expenditure side, there are no layoffs proposed in this budget. There were discussions during the fiscal 25 budget to eliminate positions during the year to address the proposed budget shortfall for this fiscal 26 budget. And currently, the IT director is going to remain vacant per the proposed budget, but that is the only one for fiscal 26. Second, there are no service reductions proposed in this budget, so that's always good news. The proposed budget includes restoring the reductions from fiscal 25 public services budget in the amount of $230,000. This budget also includes COLA for general employees in the amount of 3%, or $153,000, which is net of reimbursements. There was a request for upgrading a part-time position to a full-time position for the animal shelter, but that is not included in this version of the budget due to the increased cost of $52,000. And this budget does not address the ongoing capital improvement needs at some of the aging facilities, with the potential for emergency repairs increasing. From the fund balance standpoint, the proposed budget includes the use of 1.2 million, as we discussed, which is the same amount as the 25 budget, and the gap at 137,968. The Finance Committee has scheduled 2 special meetings in October to address the gap, and will vote on a budget by the October 23rd meeting, if not sooner, if we do figure things out at the next special meetings. A few notes that I also want to point out is that Rusk County should consider creating or updating a facility assessment plan to help refresh and shape the 5-year capital plan. This will allow proper planning and forecasting of the debt capacity and bonding for projects, resulting in a more consistent debt service millage from year to year. One note that I will make is that the proposed debt service is almost $1 million less in fiscal 26 than fiscal 25, and that's just because of the current debt service plan with the bonding. I know that you have a few outstanding items to discuss, and that may change, but it's always nice to have like a more consistent debt service millage rate from year to year. And also IT and public safety equipment should be included in the plan or as part of a separate equipment replacement plan. Vacant positions as discussed in fiscal 25 for the fiscal 26 budget. Same here, the vacant position should be reviewed and non-essential positions frozen when the vacancy arises and then reviewed during the fiscal 27 budget process. And then finally, fee schedules should be reviewed annually to incorporate any changes to the estimates. The committee discussed this at their last meeting, and the thought is to have it occur in May as part of the budget process each year by the departments and then reviewed by the respective committee. So that's a quick, brief, high-level overview on the current state of the fiscal 26 proposed budget, and we're available to answer any questions.
Great. Questions for Chris? Mr. Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Bingham, could you tell me what the general fund balance is going to be approximately after taking this 1.2 into use in 2026?
Sure. The unassigned fund balance projected at the end of fiscal 24 is 16.8 million. So in fiscal 25, departments have projected the use, and that 1.2 million has been reduced down as the need for fiscal 25 due to various vacancies and such. And so we're estimating, and again, since we're not all the way through fiscal 25, we're not sure of what the ending fund balance is going to be, but we're projecting conservatively a use of $300,000 to $400,000. So that would bring it down to about 16.4 million going into fiscal 26. If all of the 1.2 million is used, then that would have an unassigned balance of about 15.2 million. I will say that the proposed budget does not factor in any vacancy savings for positions. So I think that's why when we talk about the use of that 1.2 million, after we get through the year, not all of that 1.2 million is expended as it says in the budget.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Schneider.
Anything in this packet for tonight is not anywhere in this proposal yet.
Correct. I think the clerk sent out a summary, but I think that the finance chair was asked to give kind of an update on where things stand. So we wanted to give you a high level update and give a little assurance that we're close. And we should have the rest of the gap closed within the next week or two. And so we should be on track for the budget hearings, which I believe are going to be the second week of November, but I know we still need to work through that. And so we're in the process, and staff have done a great job, and the departments have really stepped up to work through all the information and get all the questions answered for the committee. So we are on track, and then there'll be a more formal presentation as we finalize the budget.
Any more questions? Mr. Meyer?
Chris, maybe let everybody know, if you would please, where we were at when we started this process, the gap we
Sure.
were looking at.
Sure. So the original page one of that summary, the gap after the use of the 1.2 million of fund balance was over $1 million. So I think it was like maybe like 1.05 or 1.1 million. So we went back and worked with the departments, and we really focused on the larger departments that had big variances from fiscal 24 to fiscal 25 to fiscal 26. So Health and Human Services is a good example, is that we looked at what their request was versus what their current expenses are, and all the information we knew at the time, and worked with the department head to revise that down. We also talked with the sheriff and the jailers about the overtime and all those positions. So we were able to look at that. We looked closely at the sales tax estimate, and while it's still extremely conservative, that was increased to help offset the gap. And then there were a few other items that we looked at between Public Works and the Treasurer's Office to really shrink that gap down to where it is. And that's not to mention the line by line discussion at each of the budget committee meetings with all the department heads. And so the finance committee did a great job of really drilling down on a lot of those expenses and trying to save and come up with a plan going forward as well. So we did get it from over $1 million down in this 137,000.
Mr. Willingham?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Other than the 3% COLA, is it correct to say that the budget does not reflect any other across the board salary increases? Is that correct?
I believe that is true, but I would defer to HR and Ms. Heath on that.
The 3% COLA is the only increase.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other questions for Chris? Well, I just want to say great job to Finance Committee Chair, administration, and to Baker Tilly and our Finance Department for whittling this down quite a bit.
If I may add, I know it had a few questions here and there. I wanted the finance to be rather transparent to the whole board. So I guess our thought process was to bring this to you guys instead of hitting you with it in October or at November, so that everyone knew kind of where we were at and what we were up against. So that was at least my mindset of wanting everyone to be brought up to speed. And I think I can safely speak for the rest of the committee too.
So if you got suggestions where to cut now, rather than wait until the Finance Committee brings it back again, how's your time?
I just wanted to clarify, Dave, I should have mentioned also the unionized staff, there will be increases for them as well, but those are not determined yet. So I just wanted to clarify that.
That's usually in the contingency.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Snyder?
Are the EMTs and first responders covered under the 3% for a change instead of having to?
Yes, Tom, Tom made sure that was taken care of.
Thank you.
And so that would come back the same time as a resolution to give the COLA to the rest of the.
Well, I just want to know if it was in there. It's been a long time trying to get them welded together.
Right, any more discussion? Any more questions? Questions? All right, thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Enjoy your evening.
Next on the agenda, we got a presentation by CUNY Architects, design update on the highway project.
Good evening, John Wallenkamp, CUNY Architects. Update on the project, we're at about 75% complete with documents. Documents were turned into the Ladysmith today for their site plan review, which would go on an October meeting. October 13th, we're looking to have 90% complete documents. November 13th, 100% documents. And shooting to go for bids November 26th, pre-bid December 3rd, and bids due December 17th. Any questions specific to the plans, I'm happy to help answer those, but otherwise that's kind of the project schedule we're moving forward.
Any questions? Mr. Kudo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So December, when do you think, I mean, jumping ahead a little bit here, considering that, you know, the board would approve this, when would you be able to start construction?
Well, a lot will go up front for ordering materials and supplies, so depending on how the winter would go, whether they would start digging in the winter, but otherwise right away in early spring. It would give them the time to get all the shop drawings, all the long lead items ordered and secured and ready to go for spring.
And your plans or whatever that you said 11/13 to be at 100%?
Correct, on the 13th of November.
Yeah, so is that when you would present that to the board or?
Correct, we would present the 30% the October 13th, so coming up in a couple weeks.
The 90%?
The 90%, I'm sorry. And then October 13th, we present the 100% to the county, so whether staff or would see those documents too.
Mr. Ziesler.
I'm new to this board, just so you realize. You mentioned documents. What specific area you're talking about documents?
Yes, so we are working on the highway facility documents. We're designing a brand new facility for the highway shop. It would be the documents that would go up for bids for general contractors to bid on for building a new highway facility.
Also talking about the drawings?
Correct, drawing set and specifications, correct.
Specifications, okay, for bidding.
Correct.
And so state approval?
Correct. State approval would go in probably right around that November, second week in November too. So we'd have state approval back before the bids are due in case the state has any input that they want us to reflect.
I was just going to ask about that. You know, you have to have the state approval before you send out the bids.
Before construction starts, correct.
Unless you have a revision. Revisions get very costly.
Yeah, that would not be the goal. Our goal would have the state documents back before bids are due, so if we had to make any modifications and corrections in the addendum form, we could do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any more discussion? More discussion? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we got a presentation by Venture Architects, Design and Samuels Group, update on the jail project.
Good evening, Corey Blair with Venture Architects. We're in a similar situation here as CUNY is with the highway department. We've been working and finalizing our documents, the drawings and specifications. We plan on completing those November 21st, so we're tracking a similar schedule as well. Again, finalizing it, so we're about 7 weeks out for completion of those documents that could be issued if that's approved. Questions?
Questions? Any more discussion?
Give you guys an update from a bidding perspective. Welcome. Figure I'll give you a brief summary on where we've been and how we got here. So the county, before we got involved, actually did a master plan that was created and identified that the jail and the highway shop were some high needs. We actually went through further detail on the jail for quite some time, did some public presentations. Feedback from the public was the jail that was presented was too costly. Was there a way that we could cut? And there was also feedback from the community that we needed to address the needs of the highway shop because it's in dire condition. I don't know if you've been to the highway shop or been to the jail. The highway shop is leaking water. It's got a lot of safety issues, inefficiency issues. The jail is the same way, and they're still remaining. The jail's actually leaking some water into the lower floor that's going to be brought to property. And so there's a lot of things that need to be done with both of them. So after the $38.5 million jail, which had a skywalk, didn't pass, it was a request to go back and scale the project down. So Venture went back and scaled the project down. It's a $33.5 million jail. We cut the number of beds, we cut the square footage. That's been presented to this board multiple times. And then CUNY was actually hired to work on a phase 1, which was going to be a vehicle storage portion of the highway shop. But as the design started there, it made sense for them to do the entire highway shop so that we could get those numbers, right? We've been working with budgets, and the approach was do a smaller scaled jail and address some of the highway shop needs. During that process, there was discussion about being able to make both of them happen at the same time. And that's where we are today. Back in May, the board took action. It was a significant investment. I think it was between $1.5 and $2 million to have both of these firms get these documents so they're bid ready. And the motion that was done in May was to get to a point where it was going to be bid ready and that we could formalize or finalize the numbers. Because the question that's always been asked is this the real number, right? So last month we brought this resolution to this group, which basically is authorizing a future borrowing. The resolution that you guys are going to take action on. You're not borrowing money tonight. Those of you that were here last month, you're hearing the same thing. But for the new member, I just want to emphasize that you're not borrowing money tonight. You are authorizing a potential future borrowing that would come back to you with notes that would have another resolution. What that does is it builds confidence in those bidders. When CUNY puts theirs out to bid, when we put the jail up to bid, those bidders know that the county is serious about considering this if you get good numbers, if you get good competitive numbers. The other thing that this does for you is it's able to bring back, there's a component of this borrowing that money that was authorized in May has been paid out of your general fund, or it's been paid out of county funds that are not borrowed. If the project is approved, those funds can be replenished into your fund on the project scope. And it was asked at the ad hoc committee meeting, has that been accounted for in the budgets that we were presenting for both the highway and the jail project? And the answer to that is yes, okay? So what I just got done finishing is we took Venture's documents in the state that they are, and we took them out to contractors and had a check-in on, are we on budget? The answer is we are on budget. I do want to let you know that the other thing that's happening that is a benefit in your favor is that the market right now for contractors is extremely competitive. Contractors need work. So one of the things that John talked about, as a contractor comes in and looks at your project, what makes it attractive for putting it out for bid this late in the year? Most people say you can't start construction in the winter. You can. But the benefit of your two projects is you're actually looking at precast structures. The jail is largely precast. The highway shop, I believe, is all precast. And what those contractors look at is it puts their staff to work because they're able to build those panels in their shop so that they're ready to come on site while you're getting your site prepped. So you guys are sitting in a great spot. You've got a competitive market out there for the contractors. You're going to have two projects going out to bid in a very similar time frame. And all we're asking tonight is for you to approve that resolution to authorize a future borrowing. There was a question last time about the language was not in the resolution last time, that it's a future borrowing. We've asked Quarles and Brady to change that. That resolution has been amended. That's what's before you tonight. And we've also worked with the ad hoc to give you another resolution that's going to come afterwards that authorizes us to put that out for bid. So the question about those documents is that the final documents, the way we would see it, would go to the ad hoc for their approval, and then you would put it out to bid. And when we get the bids back, we would bring those bids back to you as a board with them qualified and with a recommendation. So then at that point, you can then vote on whether you want to accept the bids or you want to reject them. But again, the resolutions before you tonight is to finish what we started in May. We voted in May to get this far. Let's finish that process, and you still have the ability to approve or reject either one of these projects at a later date. Any questions on that?
Mr. Ziesler.
How did you arrive at these $33.5 million projects? I mean, because you said you went to the contractors and they said, yeah, it looks pretty reasonable.
So
obviously, if these are already numbers that the contractors are reasonable, chances are that their bids are going to come in pretty close to those numbers, or a little bit higher. And my next question, so that's the second question, is are you also going to be the supervising?
Yeah, so we as a construction management firm are only overseeing the work. All of the bricks and mortar portion, the work that's going to be self-performed is competitively bid. We are overseeing that in regards to the construction management role. Venture is the architect. We are the construction manager that's been under contract for that. Let's go back to your.
Since I'm new at this thing, and the county hired you guys, did you specify the percent that you're going to get?
Yep, it's all in our contract. Yep.
In the contract?
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is. It is. The dollar amount, does anybody know, or the percent?
I think we were at 2.9%. I think that's what it
I don't
was.
have my laptop with me. I can get that to you if you'd like.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Can we go back to your first question of how we got to 33.5? Yeah. So are you familiar with the design process? Have you done? Okay, so the design process ultimately was done by going through a space programming to identify the size that's there. The element on the jail is really how many beds do we build, right? So they did a projection based on what the bed count was and what does the bed count look like for 30 or 50 years. So that's really the area that was scaled back, because what we got to a point was the first one had the bed capacity for growth for 30 to 50 years. It was challenged to say, we may never get to that number, so let's just replace the jail that we have right now. So a couple of things, it can become code compliant from an international building code. It can also meet the codes that we have for classification without overbuilding. It was, let's not overbuild on this portion of the jail so that we can address the highway needs. So they scaled back the number of beds. We are replacing the jail with the number of beds. Also, it was with the direction that you could add beds in the future without disrupting the function of the jail 10, 15, 20 years from now. So essentially, that housing unit, there's a segment taken out of that can be added at a later date if your population grows. So the $33.5 million is really driven by the market that correctional projects are being bid out at. So what we do is when that base program comes in, we start to look at the square footage. We take the square footage, and as they develop their floor plans, we keep checking in with contractors to see where the market is. This is the last time we've done that before we put it out to bid. So to answer your question, that's the process that's there to be able to hone in what's the right size project for us.
Okay, good. Since I haven't been involved with all of this stuff.
Absolutely. Ask as many questions as you want, because I want you to be informed.
Did they ever look at the possibly renovating, say, the social services space by any chance, and use that for jail and move the social services to another building?
We actually looked at over a dozen different options, which included renovation, new sites. We really looked at many options. And based on the ad hoc committee being able to evaluate what the investment is and what gives you the best long-range growth, this was the option that we did come to. But yeah, we looked at many options.
Other options all were more expensive or less expensive or what?
They were reasonable in price. Some of them were lower, some of them were higher, but what you ran into is there was displacement of staff, so now phasing started to become an option that drove cost. The other thing is there were limitations to the structure right now that it would become a linear jail again. And to be efficient and safe, you want to see a podular jail. And after this, if you wanted to see what a pod jail looked like, we can run you through that as well, just to kind of give you an update.
I've seen it. Another question is, did they ever consider, the county board, did they ever consider the cost of maintaining a new facility, the additional staff, everything else that's required?
Yep, maintaining would be one element. The thing that was really focused on was staffing, meaning the correctional staff, right? Because there are certain designs, and that's some of the things that in the linear design. Linear design, depending on how they're put together, cause your staff numbers to rise up. This will be no increase in your operating staff for your jail. Correctional officers, there's going to be no additional correctional officers needed.
Or janitorial and other facilities?
Yeah, that number, that is a number that we have not finalized or put together. I can tell you that there will be efficiencies in regards to having a new build, right? So you're going to have your PMs, so you do those PMs every year. That cost is going to be an increase, but you're going to see that this preventative maintenance that you're investing in this old building will offset what that growth would be on your maintenance side.
I just want to point out to you that I was around in the 1980s when this new jail was built.
Okay, good.
And the cost of maintaining, staffing, and everything else increased tremendously.
Sure.
So I wonder if the board has actually looked at what is this going to cost us?
Yeah, and I think the biggest component when you talk about staffing, the biggest component that drives it is your correctional officers, and I can assure you that this 3-post design will be able to align with the correctional officers that you have right now.
I think Ashley's got a few suggestions here too.
So that conversation did happen between the jail captain and the facilities manager in terms of like what maintenance would look like. And what the jail captain indicated was with the improved design in the new facility, he would really like to start implementing inmate workers, something that they really can't do right now with their current facility. So some of the more basic cleaning could be accomplished through inmate workers. He also said that some of that basic work could possibly be done by the correctional officers. They take on a lot right now as it is. I will say that if a skywalk is approved, that will be much more convenient for our maintenance staff. You know, if we have to have our guys bringing vacuums and the floor cleaner and things like that across, we can't have that across the street. So if there's a skywalk, that will be better in that aspect. If there's not a skywalk, yes, we would be looking at maybe a little bit more maintenance equipment purchase dedicated to the jail space.
And I take it the skywalk is not included in this 33 million.
Yeah, so the skywalk isn't included in the $33.5 million, but we are designing it and bidding it as an alternate so that you will have what that number is. So let's say that the bids come back competitive, which I'm forecasting, then you can make the decision of whether you want to include the skywalk or not. So it will be a number. But it's not in the original $33.5 million.
So you have not done an estimate as for a skywalk in terms of?
Yeah, we had an estimate of about $3 million. When I just checked in with the contractors, it's trending less than that.
Mr. Vincent.
I just wanted to ask one more question. These 2 resolutions that we're voting on tonight, do we incur any additional cost if we vote yes on these?
No.
Any more questions?
Sorry for all of you. I know you've lived through that already, but having a new member, I think it's important to bring you up to speed. Thanks for the questions.
You did it for me 6 months ago.
Oh, we did.
Any more discussion?
You're better though.
Any more discussion? Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, next on the agenda, we got a presentation, description of Rusk County Area Chamber of Commerce projects and activities.
Thank you for having me. I am Kat Dotloff. I am the current board president of the Rusk Area Chamber of Commerce. Dear members of the county board, thank you for your generous $18,000 investment in the Rusk Area Chamber of Commerce. Your support has been instrumental in advancing our mission to promote Rusk County as a vibrant place to eat, play, shop, and live. And it has helped strengthen our efforts in tourism, promotion, and community engagement. A major use of your funding has been to support a competitive salary and insurance stipend to attract and retain qualified leadership for the executive director position. Nearly all applicants have asked for some sort of insurance or benefits package when applying, so that's been one of the things that we've been working toward being able to have. During our previous executive director's performance, as most of you know, that Courtney Price is no longer the executive director. The board identified some unmet expectations, and some were particularly involving around community communication and engagement with other organizations and partners. Those concerns contributed to her resignation, which was unexpected. While this created a temporary challenge for the chamber, the board worked together to maintain operations and to keep initiatives moving forward. Those initiatives included being able to have all the Music on Minor events, being able to keep and have our Mardi Gras craft fair, being able to keep the car show as well. We were able also to maintain previously committed 505 events and other events that were planned outside of the major key initiatives. We're also pleased to share that the position has been filled by Charlene Belfi. She is a candidate that we believe brings the experience, professionalism, and the vision needed to elevate the chamber's mission. The county's investment also allows for performance-based salary increases, ensuring accountability and long-term leadership retention. It's important to be able to evaluate our executive director's performance and to be able to reward that good performance with salary increases as a result, as we are allowed to. In addition to staffing, funds have also supported targeted marketing and advertising campaigns for key tourism events. Those events including Spring Expo, the Community Awards earlier this year, the Music on Minor, Mardi Gras Arts and Crafts Show, and the Car Show. We also took out some advertising in partnership with the city and the IDC to also have a spot on the 2548 Fox network that also played our commercials in the La Crosse areas and in some other neighboring states as well as Iowa and Minnesota. These events not only promote tourism, but also boost our local economic activity. We had more vendors at our Mardi Gras Arts and Crafts Show than the previous 3 years. And we believe we also had a record number of car show participants this year too. Looking ahead, the chamber is expanding its impact through events such as we just had Leaf It to Rusk weekend and the Corona-wide garage sales. We will then be moving to Halloween Downtown Night Out, the Quilt Walk, and then Winter Magic this winter to follow. We're also proactively working to recruit new community ambassadors and in particular to increase our participation in our neighboring communities like Bruce, Weyerhaeuser, Tony, and Hawkins, where previously involvement has been limited in these areas. A great example of this is we are going to be hosting a 505 October 9th, and it's going to be over at Main Street in Bruce. Bob Lorkowski has recently became a new community investor with 3 of his businesses, so he will also be showcasing those businesses at the 505 that's coming this month. We greatly appreciate and value our partnership with the county, and we do respectfully ask for your continued support. We're confident that under this new leadership, the chamber is well positioned to grow its presence and to promote all that Rusk County has to offer, as originally proposed at the beginning of the year. I do know that Charlene has a passion for education and community, not only education for community businesses, but also organizations. We do have a lot of community organizations as members and investors. I know she's already visited with Lady Smith School to talk about the chamber, to talk about what the chamber does, what she does as an executive director. She's been an executive director for other organizations too, so we're hoping that that experience is going to translate perfectly into this position. It sounds like she is going out there. A huge goal of the chamber would really to be community education, letting more people what a chamber of commerce is, what they do. We get these questions as board members all the time. What does a chamber board do? What does the chamber do as a business? So we're really hoping that Charlene's going to get out there and be making contact with the locals and to be able to educate them on what we're doing as our mission. I want to thank you again for your trust in the Rusk Area Chamber of Commerce and in the shared goal of a stronger, more connected Rusk County. Are there any questions?
Questions? Mr. Meyer.
So, it's Rusk Area Chamber of Commerce. I might be being nitpicky here, but there's a lot of communities here that I don't see identified on here. I just kind of see the Highway 8 corridor.
Yeah, there's a list.
And there's also Sheldon, which probably Mr. Schneider maybe already had thought about, but I mean, I guess I view, correct me if I'm wrong, I view the chamber that it should promote all events within the county. Is that how the chamber is viewed, or am I viewing it incorrectly?
It would be the entire Rusk County area. Yes, this report wasn't meant to be an all-inclusive list. It just named some of the outside communities.
And I know I'm being picky, but being the county is contributing now, I want to see the entire county benefit from this, no matter if they live in the farthest northeast corner or if there's an event, I would like to see it promoted.
Absolutely. There's also an item that I did not mention. Charlene does know about this goal. She has been taking the initiative to make sure that we're reaching out to other communities too, like in those areas, to be a part of their hometown events. I mean, going to their parades, like at Hawkins just did their Harvest Festival, you know. So we want to be able to participate more and be visible more in those community areas. So we do share that goal and that want to be more of the area, and it's not just centrally Lady Smith or just centrally along Highway 8.
Awesome. I'll hold you guys to it.
Mr. Vincent?
Well, thanks for coming today. I think part of why you're here is we had some discussions in finance, and you saw a presentation earlier that the county budget is under pressure and has been under pressure for a couple of years. And one of the ways that we see our way out of it is through economic growth and development. So thank you for all your effort for the last couple of years. My question has to do with the recent Leave It to Rusk event, which I was able to visit several local businesses, particularly on the western side of the county where I'm from. And overall, I had a really good impression of what was going on, and I think it probably contributed much to our economic activity. I was curious if you had any preliminary numbers or any information for just how large of an event that is.
At this time, I do not have that information. We can work together with the executive director to get some information together. We can.
Yeah. Do you have a estimate of how many businesses were involved?
That is a great question for Charlene, but I would love to be able to take note of your questions to give them to her and be able to revisit that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mr. Ziesler?
Question, has anybody in your chamber group gone out to recruit additional members to the chamber, such as in Sheldon or Conrath or where have you? Because I remember we had a previous president of the chamber, and she increased, we were involved with the chamber, my little business that I had, Toad House. She increased it from, I think we were running less than 100 to several hundred members. She went out there and beat the bushes and recruited all these businesses. I'm just wondering if Charlene is doing this, Charmaine is doing this? Is that her?
Charlene, yes, that would
Charlene.
be a part of her role as executive director. And it does sound like she is reaching out to other businesses as well, being able to retain Gateway Gourmets from Bruce, as well as the other 2 businesses that Barbara Trustee owns, including the new Gateway Inn and then his L Cars as well. I'm confident that we can keep on these goals and keep Charlene on task to
Thank you.
get new partners as well as retain those. Not sure how long it's been since you've heard numbers. I believe our investor account approximately now is around 200.
And Charlene's fairly new. She's been here, what, 2 months or something like that?
I believe she just started mid-August. Yes, she's very new.
Any more questions? Any more discussion? Any more questions? All right, thank you. Next on the agenda, we got resolution, the initial resolution authorizing not to exceed 49.5 million general obligation promissory notes for jail and highway projects. We got a motion by Alec, or, a motion by Mr. Biller, a second by Mr. Hampton.
So Justin Fisher from Baird is on as well. So as Kurt had mentioned, this resolution was brought to you last month, and there were a few concerns mentioned about kind of the language in the resolution. So Justin and I did work with Quarles and Brady, and they are our bond counsel. So they're all attorneys there. This is what they do for a living. And they did add in another whereas clause. So I'll just kind of zoom in here. Whereas the sale of the notes, including the dating, interest rates, maturity schedule, and other details with respect to the notes, shall be subject to approval by subsequent resolution of the County Board of Supervisors. So I think Supervisor Freeman, you had kind of mentioned a little bit of hesitation with some of that language. So that's what Quarles did come back with. I will say, if you guys recall, when those parameters resolutions come through, they're like 15 pages long, they clog up your packet. That parameters resolution is what authorizes the county to issue debt, to direct Baird to issue the debt. So this is not that. What this is giving the bidders the confidence that, hey, if I bid on this project, there's a pretty good chance that I might get some or all of this work. If you don't have any funding source to back up your project, obviously just, kind of put yourself in the shoes of those bidders. Are you going to want to spend your time going through a bid package like that? And then I just want to quickly, before I'll give the floor to Justin if Phil is okay with that, a reminder of what was presented last time for the financing package. If you guys will recall, on August 15th, the Department of Revenue issued net new construction and equalized value numbers, and Rusk County's equalized value went up about 17%. So what that did was it kind of spread out the impact across that new growth. And instead of 98 cents per thousand, the financing package as it stands today, and again, that will be brought to you one more time to approve finally to go out to debt. But what we would be looking at bringing you today with the financing package is 65 cents per 1,000 impact. That impact is phased in over 4 years. The first impact would be next year. This would go on the tax rolls for 2026. That would be 17 cents. And then there would be a 16-cent increase for the following 3 years. And I just want to be clear, the 65 cents phases in over the first 4 years, and then that stays there for a few years. So you're not seeing any additional increase, but it's not like the 65 cents comes in and goes away. So I just want to be clear about that, because I have heard that feedback from the public, that I don't believe it's just the 65 cents. So I can kind of zoom in here, and Justin does a great job presenting this, so I'll let him step in. But here, this column is the total combined mill rate. And when we talk about mill rate in this context, we're talking strictly about our debt service. So our total county mill rate, when you take in debt service and operating, is higher than this. We're only talking about the debt service. So right now we're sitting at $1.60. It was mentioned by Chris at Baker Tilly that there's a very significant drop if we don't do anything for next year. It drops about 92 cents. We had this discussion with the Finance Committee. It is not great to have a yo-yo mill rate for a couple of reasons. It makes it harder on the taxpayers to plan their lives, because one year their taxes might go down a couple $100, let's say $200, and then the very next year their taxes are going to go up $400. That's hard for a taxpayer to be kind of eating those big swings. I made this graph to try to see if this is better for those who are visual learners, but the green, okay, so this is what Baird always puts together for you guys. These are the next 10 years of what our debt service mill rate looks like. The black bar is what our current mill rate is. So this first black bar here is what we're sitting at right now, which is $1.60. Okay? The green arrow is going to represent the increases the next 2 years if what's in front of you today goes through and if those next 2 votes go through. So hypothetically, we're saying this board is going to authorize borrowing for a highway, shop, and a jail project. That's what those green arrows are showing. So you've got your 17-cent increase coming, which is the purple bar, and then the next 3 years you can see it escalating consistently with those 16-cent increases. And then if we don't do any more borrowing, right, which we're not planning on except for our $3 million every other year so we can complete highway projects, that bar levels out. What happens if we say, you know what, we're not quite ready to bond this year, we're not going to do anything, is you've got this yellow arrow, which shows that we will drop down to the 68 cents, I think it was. But then if we do decide next year, okay, we are ready to pull the trigger, we need to move forward with these projects, you can see that the mill rate then shoots back up. So this makes it hard, not only on the taxpayers, because they're kind of guessing what their tax bill is going to be every year instead of trying to keep it as consistent as we possibly can. And then that also makes it difficult for us planning wise, as Chris said. For example, just with this year, the budget is waiting on us to decide what we're doing with our debt service. We don't know how much we're going to bond. We're not entirely sure where we're investing with capital projects. We've had a significant discussions with the highway department and I think the maintenance department about whether or not we are going to start leasing equipment, whether or not we can bond for some of those equipment purchases to take that pressure off of the operating levy. So that's a lot. I know I threw a lot at you. Justin, I don't know if you wanted to step in at all to explain any nuances in the tax impact that you had presented last month, or if the chair just wants to go to questions.
Well, I got one question for you or Justin, whichever. You mentioned the equalized value went up by 17%. Was that net new construction, or does that just mean that now my house is considered worth more money? Or I would assume a combination of both, right? So 17% is not, there's 17% more construction that went on.
So the equalized value is a combination of inflation. We all know we're living under a high inflation environment, so there is some inflation in there, but you also do have to look at the new homes that were built in our community. If you've driven along D recently, I think you can see those. And then we did have some new business come in on the tax rolls in 2024 as well. The net new construction is separate from that number. Our net new construction, I believe, was 1.63%, which is the second highest year we've had in the last 5 years. I mean, 1.63% is pretty great for a county our size.
Mr. Willingham?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to get something clear here. So equalized value increases, that means that the levy limit increases. Is that correct?
No, the levy limit is tied to net new construction.
So there was no net, the levy limit did not change from this year to the next year?
Yes, it changed by that 1.6, I think it's 1.63%.
So one thing that we didn't hear, and I missed by not having asked, but as we were looking at the projection for the regular budget without consideration of any borrowing debt service or whatever, what is the increase in the mill rate next year over this year in terms of, so you're talking right now, what's going to happen to our people's taxes if we bond? What's happening to people's taxes if we approve the current budget for next year?
I don't think Chris included that in his presentation, but I can get that information.
I should have asked, but I mean, I'm suspect that, you know, taxes are going to go up. So it's not inappropriate to talk about how debt service is going to affect our taxes, but if that affects our taxes in addition to another effect on our taxes, that's the sum of what the taxpayers want to know. So right now we're just talking about 65 cents, right?
In terms of these two projects, yes.
But we don't know, for somebody who remembers what their taxes were last year, we don't know how much higher they're going to be if we don't do this.
Yeah, I don't have that number for you.
Justin, did you have
get the tax?
Anything you wanted to add here?
No, I think this, nothing additional to add to the discussion here. I think Ashley did a good job of explaining the potential impacts of either it going up and stabilizing or going down and potentially going back up, and the yo-yo kind of effect. And you know, part of my job is to you know, advise you and try to keep that as a very stable debt service mill rate year over year versus going up and down. So with planning for these projects, that's been something, you know, this is iteration, you know, quite a high number, because we've looked at all sorts of different scenarios and options and modeling out different years and so forth. And, you know, we try to keep it as smooth of an impact year over year as possible, again, from just the debt service levy mill rate. And not necessarily looking at the operational. Now, the operational, as we talked about, can only really increase by the net new construction. So, you know, that while that's something that's not going to be a huge impact to you, just because, again, unfortunately, net new construction is harder to grow by, you know, and make that work within a whole county.
Mr. Vincent?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The last couple of weeks have been pretty interesting to me because I learned a lot more about the finance process, what we couldn't use money for, and I also learned about some of the different maintenance items that were coming across. In particular, in finance, we spoke to Mr. Ewer about some of the maintenance activities and some of the piping and different configuration changes. And what became clear to me is that whether or not we move forward here, if we move forward here, we may avoid a lot of costs to renovate the current jail. So if we do not move forward tonight, I think that we find ourselves in a situation in a couple of years where not only has the mill rate went up and down and caused some whiplash for the taxpayer, but also we don't avoid a lot of cost, quite simply changing toilets from porcelain toilets to stainless steel toilets. And I think that, at least for my constituents, we would rather have a new jail than spending money on swapping out toilets in the old jail.
Mr. Ziesler.
So what is the plan then for the existing building? If you say that we've got leaky roofs and leaky things, if we're gonna build a new jail, what are we gonna do with all this space? Are we gonna renovate it? Are we also gonna spend some money?
Mr. Ziesler, I'm gonna let Kurt answer you on this one here.
Sorry, one thing I didn't point out at last month's meeting, the chair did ask about that. And what we're having Venture work on is a cost when we bid it out to gut that floor so that it is prepared and ready for an infill of potential office space. There's also been a discussion about probation and parole potentially having a lease space up there. So Venture is going to have a number, we're going to have a number put together for demoing that, taking all of that jail space out of there. So it's basically a white box that you could build it out, as well as put a office scenario in there if you put offices in there, so you would know that number. So.
Right, but so you're gonna have a demo cost, but you're also gonna have to have a renovation cost.
That's what I'm telling you. Those numbers will be known.
You're gonna provide both numbers.
Yeah, correct. That's what I'm saying. Both those numbers will be known.
Why haven't we received that? If we're gonna approve something here. No.
Because the scope at this point was replacing your jail, and that was a further phase. It's been asked that now we provide that, and that's going to be provided at this point.
Right, but I mean, if we're gonna vote on something, we should have those numbers, because it might be that demolition and renovation might.
That's exactly what we're here.
$1 billion.
That's exactly what we're here for tonight. We have asked for the numbers. And that's what you're going to approve. You're going to approve them to finalize those documents and get the bids, and all of those answers, all those questions will be answered. Exactly what you just said. That's what we're here for tonight.
After the fact.
And if you have anything to add, Deputy Wycheck, I don't know if the difference between remodeling for jail versus office space, if there's anything you want to add to that or not, you don't have to, but I'm just inviting you now if you do have anything that you would like to add.
So I guess I don't really have an input on remodeling the existing jail if you phase it out. The one thing that I do want to bring up, I think this is going to go to property very soon. Our current jail is going to have a major renovation in plumbing that I really don't have any idea, like contractors' costs. I do know that if it moves forward, we're probably going to have to close our jail while it's happening. We've kind of talked to the jail inspector about it. If we have no water in the jail, we can have no inmates in the jail. So in addition to whatever costs that would be accrued in the actual project, it's going to create a significant burden on us and our staff, because we're going to have to house 100% of our inmates out of county. We're going to have to transport back and forth for court for releases, new arrests. So that project will be our current jail needs to have that project. We have raw sewage leaking in our office space, in our Sally Port. There's a bucket in our armory right now catching raw sewage that's falling down that we are concerned is going to damage hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. Our evidence storage facility had raw sewage leaking in it within the last 2 months, which creates a significant liability risk for us because we can't lose evidence. I mean, if something is damaged or whatever because of that, it creates a huge liability risk for us and for the county because of it. So the only input I have is that our current facility has significant issues that need to be addressed soon.
Thank you.
Is this something new, or has it been going on for a while?
So the leaks have been occurring for a significant amount of time. They are getting progressively worse and progressively more frequent. And the way it was explained to me, because all the plumbing is 40 plus years old, so when a leak occurs, generally at a joint or something like that, maintenance manipulates that. They try to repair it, but typically what happens is when they manipulate that joint, it creates a leak somewhere else along the line. So it seems like every time we fix a problem, all it does is create a new one.
Mr. Meyer?
I was kind of hoping to see this come back to Mr. Ziesler's point with the additional costs that we're gonna see to complete this whole process. I'm not saying that all of these things are not relevant. You guys have been dealing with that down there ever since I first got on board. I mean, so I've been hearing about those leaks, I think, for 5 years, since we started the building study project, or whatever that was called. Probably should have been addressed way back then, but it wasn't, and that's shame on the board in general. But it was also brought to Mr. Vincent's point that these elevators, we had a quote,
Forgot about that.
600,000 to possibly $1 million, and it sounded like this one here, if I understood him correctly, was probably the worst. So we're not looking at the whole picture here with this 49.5 million. That's what's kind of bothering me about this. I'd like to know what we're really doing for a whole complete project here instead of piecing this thing together with a bunch of Band-Aids and some butterfly stitching. So, I mean.
So the first step to that, Jim, is let's finish what we started in May so we can get the known information. It was asked, let's quit going off of estimates. Let's bid it out. That's what's before you tonight. Approve the resolution to move forward with assuring the contractors that you're serious, we gotta fix our needs, and then authorize the bidding. You can then have those questions answered for you when we bring the bids to you. Then you can make a decision. What's a priority? Do we want to do the highway? Do we want to do the jail? Do we want to do both? If you don't want to do any of them, you're not bound to doing them. That's what's before you tonight.
Well, and I'm sorry, and you might take this personal, but when Wold did the building study, we asked those questions, what it was gonna take to do the complete project, and what our view, what it needed to be to cover the whole thing, not just to put up one new building.
No,
We also discussed in that Wold thing with some of our meetings, which they're not recorded anymore, but we asked them the questions, what do we do with this? How do we remodel it? What's it gonna cost? And at that time, Market Johnson said it would be a lot cheaper per square foot to more or less run a backhoe through this whole west wing. That was the impression I got from the numbers that were thrown out at us, but there's nothing on paper, so I can't back that up. But it was questions asked in meeting on the spot, to be fair. Nothing with a lot of thought and process put behind it. But I think there's a lot more questions to this, and I think it's gonna end up being way more than 49.5 million when we're done.
Let's let the process play out. Let's approve it tonight and bid it out, and then we can answer those questions. That's the right way to do it. That's what we started in May. Let's finish it. Otherwise, we're gonna keep talking about all these what ifs.
Mr. Willingham?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 2 or 3 points that I want to make, and then I'm done for the night.
All right.
Yeah, but I'm sure that maybe within a standing ovation. First of all, not to be nitpicky, but when you say let's, you're saying let us, and no, it's the board, not
Okay,
you and
change the language. Please move forward with what you started in May.
So the other issues that I'm concerned about, and a little bit taken back by the idea of the yo-yo levy. I think if you reduce the levy, obviously people have lower taxes. There might be a psychological effect when the taxes go back up. But if you sat the average taxpayer down and said, we're going to lower your taxes next year by $200, and then the following year we're going to raise them by $300, they're still saving $200. And the average taxpayer is going to understand that. If you just lower taxes and then they go back up again, the psychological effect takes place. But reasonable people would understand that it's not a bad thing to tell them that their taxes are going to go down for a year or two, even though they might go up later on. That's one issue. The second issue is my opposition all along has not been primarily against building a new jail. It's been building a new jail with the current plan. I just don't think it's a good plan. And we spent a lot of money on a bad plan. And it doesn't make sense to me that we should, because we spent a lot of money on a bad plan, we should spend some more money building a building based on a bad plan. So that's a concern of mine. And finally, as much as I agreed after visiting the highway shop and the tour that we had earlier this summer, we definitely need to do something about the highway shop. But again, as a matter of principle, I cannot in good conscience vote to build a new highway shop for a department that is seriously considering downsizing, selling the asphalt plant, and doing other things that seem to me to be reducing their role as a organization and a part of the county government. So that's where I'm at right now. I can't vote for a bad plan, and I can't vote for a facility for highway department if they're talking about getting out of the asphalt business, because that is going to cost us a lot of money in the future if we don't have that plant up and running. So I'm not going to belabor my points. I'm not going to argue any further. But at this point in time, unless somebody has something very persuasive, I have to continue to be in opposition. Thank you.
Mr. Ziesler.
Getting back to the gentleman who keeps saying we need to have bids go out so we know exactly how much it's going to cost. We already have the numbers. You already talked to the contractors and they said, yeah, this looks reasonable. So it's going to be reasonable that the bids are going to come in within that 38.5 million or 33.5 million or whatever, number finally I figured out. Or the total package of 59 million, whatever it is. I don't see, we need to.
So let me just clarify why I state that. Because in this boardroom, I was asked if my numbers were accurate. And the only way we're going to accomplish that is to bring you hard bids.
Right. I've been in the contracting business a long time, okay? And once you get these numbers, rough numbers, they're called rough numbers, okay? Estimates. A contractor looks at it and says, oh, that's how much money you're going to have. We can work this thing out, okay? Otherwise, you're going to have cost overruns, which they always have, okay? But I don't see why we need to have the bids go out now when we already have the numbers. It's just that my argument, okay?
Okay, and the other thing is it is a public project, so it has to be competitively bid. You cannot
Yes,
skip
I
that
realize
step.
that. I know that.
Mr. Freeman.
I guess last month I was the one that said the language and so on, so I appreciate that the language got changed. Since that meeting, I went to a highway committee meeting where the roads are really bad. And to Mr. Willingham's point, that the department doesn't seem to want to use the blacktop plant. And when I look at building a $16.5 million building, with the roads being millions of dollars in need of repair, I start to question, okay, we need a highway building. Well, we need some place to put the equipment and so on. Is $16.5 million the right way to go about it? We've heard from a private business owner who said that it could be done for less. I don't know if that's true or not, but the building that is being proposed is obviously the one that's going to be bid out and probably will come close to the $16.5 million. So I guess I'm kind of torn. I do want to know the final numbers because I am a numbers person, but at the same time, we need the roads to be able to get people to come here for tourism and to do the building, to do a business here. So I guess I'm a little torn on that. So.
Voss?
I'm
a little disillusioned. I've only been here for 27 years, and I know a lot of you have been here a whole lot longer than I have. But I can't see where this county is going to move forward, and businesses are going to move in, and young families are going to want to stay if we can't take care of our roads, and if we don't have a jail that an emergency system that can go to where it needs to go in a decent amount of time. I mean, that's what we're looking at. And tonight, what we're going to decide is go ahead and find what the numbers are. We're not anything else, just find what the numbers are. They'll bring us more. I don't know, this jail's been going on a long time before I got here. And this just seems redundant to me. We all want to see this county grow, but I don't see that it's going to. If we don't, as a county, grow, nobody's going to want to be here. That's all I have to say.
That's good.
I was wondering if there was anybody that was ever tried to hire somebody to run that blacktopping thing. And they said when the man left that did it, why don't we hire somebody that does it if nobody's picking it up at the shop?
Yeah, we might, I don't know that the blacktop plant is so much part of the discussion for the highway project, but I think in the future, maybe have Kern.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so hearing you loud and clear, Bill Kern, our highway consultant, just presented a plan to the highway committee at their last meeting. It's his pavement management plan. He is bringing his equipment management plan back to the next highway meeting, and they have already directed that he needs to come to the board, I believe in October, right? Yes. And give that presentation to the full board about because that's one of the things we are under contract with him for, was to create a pavement management plan and an equipment management plan. And I think he'll shed a lot more light on those topics in October.
Jeremy, do you want to amend?
I was curious if I could.
You got a motion to amend?
Yeah, I think, as we go through the discussion, I've heard lots of arguments for and against the jail, for and against the highway shop. And I'm compelled by Sue Voss's argument that if we don't move forward with something, we're not putting forward a good faith step towards Rusk County's future. So if the board does not have an appetite to put together a $50 million general obligation authorization, I'd like to put forth an amendment to reduce that to $18,000 for the highway shop.
18 million?
18 million, excuse me. Yeah. That would be very bad, just 18,000. But yes, I believe that covers all of the known expenses and about 15% additional.
Premature.
Premature?
All right, we got a motion to amend the amount.
And strike for jail.
18 million, strike jail. So say just the highway project.
Yep.
Okay, so we got a motion to amend, we got a second to the amendment. Motion to amend, any second?
I will second it just so we can debate.
We have a second on the amendment. Mr. Kudo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just going to ask, John, you're pretty set on your number. It's going to be 16.
Yes, sir. The numbers I presented last time is what.
Yeah. It's not 16.5, it's 16. My suggestion would be I'm not comfortable with this particular resolution only because it's lumping the two projects together. I think we should have two resolutions. I think we should have one resolution for the county shop and a second resolution for the jail. They're two separate projects. There should be a separation there. So there's no confusion. We can then look at one or the other project and move forward with that. And it kind of gets us off the hook. And not only that, but I think there seems to be some missing numbers as far as the jail project goes, and maybe we need to get a better idea what exactly the numbers on the jail are actually going to be. These additional expenses that came up tonight. So my suggestion would be to separate these two, make two resolutions. And I think I don't know that we have to go with 18. I think we can do it. John's pretty solid about the 16. So his number is solid. He's had that number from the get-go. It's always been that. It's not changed.
Have it and not use it.
Mr. Moore?
Thank you. I guess I got to say, I don't think splitting these projects at this point is the right thing to do. Not that we may do that in the future. We still have time to do that, as has been spoken earlier. I think we need to pass this resolution as it states, get those bids come in so we can look at them. And then we still have plenty of time to split the projects, decide on one project or the other, or both, or none. We still have time down the road to do that. So I think tonight we need to pass it as it's written and go on from there and decide at a future meeting whether to do it for sure or not. We'll still have time to change our minds. Thank you.
Mr. Schneider?
Look at the ceilings in here. You know how many times there's brown tiles through this whole floor? Various rooms? Changing the tile isn't solving the problem. And Dave's point about, well, people will be happy if they save $200 one year, but then next year it's going to cost more, because that's the way it is. Building costs are going crazy. That's from what I've seen. So you get a reprieve, but then for the next period of time, while the loan is paid off, you're starting with a higher base. That doesn't make sense to me either. I can't understand it. I don't know what else I can say. We spent a lot of money, which we're responsible for right now, through the architects. And I would guess probably, I'm guessing, you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong, I'm guessing we're probably 75% of the way on the expenditures in the area for what we've got to get. So I'm hoping people will vote for this so I can get a price, and then you can vote it up or down. And if you vote it down, you can figure out where we're going to get the $2+ million to cover our butts, because that's what we'll owe without this loan. It's as simple as that. It should have been, if you were against it, you should have voted against it a long time ago. Vote against it now. I don't know. Anyhow, I hope both of them pass. That's my comment.
Any more discussion on the amendment? Any more discussion on the amendment? Comments? All right, if not, you can vote now. Right now, the vote is on
the amendment to decrease the amount to 18 million and remove the cost of the jail, so it's only on the highway.
Mr. Caesar. Isn't it, you're asking me if I was thinking
For the 18 million, Tony. 18 million for the highway.
It doesn't say this up there. It would call for motion to amend.
It's on the
Do you want Corp Counsel to read it to you one more time?
It's to reduce the amount to 18 million. Doesn't say that. Doesn't say it in there.
Connie's system doesn't update
It
that.
might be wrong on the system, but that is the motion on the floor,
Yes.
or the amendment on the floor. If, whether that passes or not, then we'll vote on the main motion, which is probably.
See, it didn't say anything on there. That's why I was a little confused. Okay. All right then.
12 no, 6 yes, failed by majority. All right, so now we are back to the main motion, which is to approve the, or authorizing not to exceed the 49.5 million general obligation promissory notes for jail and highway projects, which would be back to the original resolution.
Thank you, dear promise.
Mr. Willingham.
Yeah, well, I usually do. I want to ask a question. We're talking about leaking pipes and other issues that are important. If we build a new jail, and we start even excavation next spring, how much maintenance are we going to have to do anyway, whether we build a new jail or we don't build a new jail, as far as leaky pipes and so forth?
I do believe Kurt was going to work on a number, but I think he said he doesn't have it quite yet. But he was going to work on a number of what the renovations would cost for renovating to repurpose.
We're going to have to do that either way, right?
What we're going to do. And he did, after the last meeting, I asked kind of the same question. He did call me and said he'd start working on those numbers. It sounds like you haven't got them yet, but
Well, it's going to be part of the bid, right? So all the numbers will come to you at that known point, because the point of tonight's meeting is that you're not borrowing money, and I know you're talking about the borrowing money. It's the point of getting to the point where all of those numbers will be known. So to answer your question is that what they're dealing with has been an ongoing issue. They've been dealing with case by case by case, is that if you decide that you're going to build over there, now they're only going to address the immediate needs until you occupy. You're not going to have to come in and redo everything at one point. So it's going to take it step by step. That's the way you would address it.
Ashley, you got something to add?
Yeah, so are you talking about the big plumbing project that property is considering? So what happened was our sheriff department and our police department have been bringing this to our attention, I think Jim said, for like 5 years, right? When the progress kind of stalled a little bit on the project, I can't speak for the police chief. I don't know what prompted him to he's a tenant of the county. And he did put the county on notice that this was happening and that it needed to be addressed. Okay, so if the board decides to move forward with construction of a new facility, I highly doubt that the property committee, and Jerry's here as the chair, would authorize completely pulling out all of our plumbing and putting new plumbing in. Brett is able, as the facilities manager, to have his team do those patchwork fixes that Matthew was talking about. But if there will be no progress in building a new facility, then yes, we need a long-term plan to address what is happening on our department and our tenant as well, if that makes sense.
Somewhat. I mean, I was under the impression that if you started to upgrade the plumbing, then, you know, in some instances when you are, let's say, have a waiver for meeting certain codes, but if you start upgrading, then you lose the waiver. So by upgrading, we wouldn't be required to put in stainless steel necessarily, unless it was planned long-term. But if you were just going to fix it to get rid of the buckets and not do anything else, then that would be the cost going forward in addition to the new jail. That's what I'm looking at, so.
Go ahead.
So this comes from the meeting we had with the state jail inspector about it. He said if we start renovating plumbing, we have to get all the plumbing up to code. but it would not affect anything else that currently isn't up to code in the jail, so we wouldn't have to come into compliance with other areas in the jail, only plumbing.
That helps, that's helpful.
Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? If not, go ahead and vote now. Yes, 5 no, failed by not having 3/4 of full membership. Next on the agenda, we have authorizing architects and venture architectural Samuels Group to seek bids for the highway facility and jail projects. What's that?
It's up to the body to decide if they want, I mean, you paid for bid documents, you're getting them one way or the other. It's up to you guys if you want to consider this.
I don't think there's any reason not to do it.
A motion by Mr. Willingham and a second by Mr. Moore. All right. Sir, do you want to give a slight overview?
Sure. So a slight overview essentially is what this would do. I think Kurt had mentioned it earlier. Is that we would take the bid documents to the ad hoc construction committee chaired by Mr. Moore, and then they would sign once the authorization, if the authorization is given by this body, the ad hoc would sign off on, yep, we want those specific documents going out to bid. CUNY and Venture would go to bid, and then they would be brought back to the board.
Right. Any discussion? Mr. Kudo.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to say the same thing I said about the last one. I think these two projects should be split up. I don't think they should be, combined. I think we should have a resolution for me, and it's the one for.
Great. Any more discussion? I'll call on
I don't know if I can.
Willenkamp there. Go ahead. I'm calling on you so you can speak.
I guess I'm just real concerned, the number I presented, the number that contractors are gonna feel that it's gonna proceed. They spend thousands of dollars bidding. I don't feel comfortable putting out a set of documents knowing my client won't even potentially buy it. I can't guarantee the number I told you, that's how we're going out for bids. I would tell you, if you're not going forward, I don't want to waste taxpayers' money. I don't want to spend any more project money if this project isn't going to go forward for that way. If I was a resident, I would be very unhappy. I don't want to give up a project, but I'm just saying, I don't think my number can hold firm if you don't even have the support to pay for it. Thank you.
Mr. Ziesler?
So, in your contract to do these drawings, how much of that contract have you so far consumed in terms of your project?
We're at about 75%.
You're at 75%.
Yes, sir.
So we could just ask you to give us those drawings and be done with.
100%. I would stop drawing and spend no more of taxpayers' money.
We'd save 25%.
You'd save, yep. Anything we didn't spend, it's the county's money.
Those drawings then can be used in the future, next year, or whatever.
Well, you'd have to proceed with finishing them.
Right. With a different architect or the same architect. same group.
Yeah. Good chance not a different architect as most ones, but however the county would do it, I'm just saying, I'm very uncomfortable holding to my $16 million number, knowing bidders, it goes public. If they know it's not gonna be funded, they're not gonna spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 bidding the project.
Yes, but at the same token, you know, money that's spent, you've got your drawings done 70%, 75%. Next year, we can say, hey, we've now made a decision, finish them, and go ahead.
100%. I by no means want to walk away from the project. I love, I'm just saying, I'm worried about the number we presented to the
Yeah,
county.
but you got your money already in the contract, whatever the contract was, since I wasn't privy to that. But, you know, I understand how you feel. Okay.
Mr. Schneider?
We'll have plans, some of them. But how much of them's gonna be good in a year? Everything changes. And if we stop right now, we owe a ton of money. That's all I say.
Ms. Boss, sorry.
How much more is this gonna cost us if next year we say, okay, we're in? How much more is it gonna be costing us, other than we got the price? Now, not the price, the cost. We're not doing anything but wanting the cost. Next year, we know dang well it's gonna be up, and the year after, and the year after that.
Mr. Willingham?
Yeah, I have a question. We have a contract for the plans.
Yes, sir.
Does that contract allow you to say, I'm not going to complete the plans because you're not borrowing the money? Or authorizing the borrowing of the money?
No. Please don't misunderstand.
We have a contract that says that if we tell you to put it out for bids, that's what you should do?
100% I will do that. I'm just nervous about, would we get good competitive numbers? That's all I'm asking.
Your statement led me to believe that you were saying you weren't going to do it if we.
No, sir. Sorry about that. Okay. No, 100%. I do not want to lose this, but I want to go up for bid just as much as everybody does. I'm just saying, I'm worried about how contractors are going to look at bidding the project.
So you're saying rather, you would almost encourage a no vote no now on the putting this out to bid to see if something changes at the next board meeting, say the projects get split up, the bonding gets approved for one or the other.
I don't know what I'm saying. All I'm saying is I'm uncomfortable
Putting it out for bid.
putting up for bids the highway garage. I don't speak for the jail at all. Knowing if funds aren't available or approved, but you can go for bids and find out. That's all I was saying. I mean, it might have been, but by no means am I walking away and saying I'm not going to complete the project. I'm just more nervous about $16 million and then it comes in at 18 million because people just did throw out higher numbers. That's all I'm concerned about.
So that if your bidders would be nervous about bidding, and they know that the board is uncomfortable with the estimate of 16 million, why would they bid 18 million? If they know we're nervous about spending 16 million, why would they bid 18 million? They know we're going to be more than nervous if they come in with an $18 million bid.
Usually what you see is a lot of people just won't bid, so you won't get as many competitive bid numbers.
Okay, so that
does make sense. It'd be less of a number of competitive bid numbers.
Mr. Ziesler?
I want to mention something with Suzanne Voss. You were saying, you know, we've spent this amount of money. Again, I wasn't here when the contracts were let to hire the architect. How much money have we spent so far with the architect for the?
Now you want to know.
Now I want to know.
Now you want to know, after the vote.
Commission might have the answer for you.
So when sorry, did you want to say something?
I was going to ask for a point of order from Mr. Summerfield. I'm feeling uncomfortable about my vote because in one respect, I wanted to stay with my conscience and my principles from previous discussions and debates about we rejected this plan a couple of times, and I don't see any change in the plan. I've consistently said I didn't think it was a good plan. Are there other alternatives? And we just keep coming back with the same plan. That's made me uncomfortable and unsupportive, as well as really strongly have a problem with the blacktop plant. And my understanding that Mr. Kern has already recommended selling the blacktop plant or getting rid of it. So I don't know what he's going to come with later to support that notion, but that's what I'm hearing, that he's going to recommend it anyway. And I believe that he was the highway commissioner in a former iteration in another county where they sold the blacktop plant. So I'm guessing he might, actually had an opportunity to talk to a couple of people at the state convention who are in the highway commissioner business, and they did not recommend selling the blacktop plant either. So my point of order, which I already forgot that I was going to make one, the board has the option to make a motion to reconsider. Is that correct?
If somebody who voted in favor of the defeated motion would.
What's that?
Only if somebody who voted in favor of.
Yes.
Yes.
That's where I'm going, but we could make a motion to reconsider. Does that have the same threshold for passage?
Reconsider would just be a straight majority.
Is that?
It would be, the motion reconsider would be a straight majority.
So then we would then turn around and vote on the resolution again. Is that correct?
If that passed, correct.
If there was enough votes to reconsider.
Correct.
You, somebody who voted to defeat it. So a yes vote, right?
Yes.
No vote.
So what was there, 5 of them that
Yes.
so it would be one of those 5?
Ms. Fox?
So I'm going to hate myself. I'll make that
I would like to reconsider that motion.
She voted.
No, you can't.
You can.
He can.
Only someone who voted in the prevailing
Do we get
side.
this vote?
So I said, I'm going to hate myself in the morning, but I will make that motion to reconsider.
Okay, but you can't because you already have a motion out there. So if you can't because you already have a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
So what you'd have to do is make a motion to table this to later in the meeting.
No, I can wait till we vote on the bids if you want to, and then.
Okay, that's fine. You just can't, you can't do that until something happens with this.
Yeah, but voting on,
You're right. Mr. Dorsinger?
voting on the bids depends on how the reconsideration is going to go. I'm not in favor of proceeding with bidding if we're not going to spend the money, if not even going to have a chance of spending the money. I understand what the architect is saying, that you are not going to get a contractor to bid on this project. And if they do, they're just going to throw a number that sticks on the wall and say, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't, because I'm not going to have my whole team, my whole construction team spending a month poring over documents and putting hundreds of hours into it for nothing. So they're either going to throw a big number out and hope it sticks, or they're not going to do it. So it's a waste of time to put out bids if you don't have the money to back it up. That's my thought. So
we can make a motion to table the red.
Motion to table until farther down.
If we make a motion to table, then we can bring it back up
Can I leave it?
later in the meeting, correct?
Can I leave it as a motion in a second then, Rich? That's on here right now.
But you would, because all you're doing is moving it further down the agenda.
What's that?
Yeah, so you're going to leave that motion up there because it's still there. You're going to table it
I
to.
would make a motion to table.
So further down the agenda.
What's that?
So you're making a motion to table this till further down the agenda tonight?
Well, if whenever the motion is to table, that means that you can take it up later in the meeting.
That's correct.
Okay.
So that's my motion.
So we're gonna do things by paper now. So that's what I kind of have to do.
So we gotta
slow
slow
down and do it right.
So we got a motion by Mr. Willingham to table this until further down in the meeting. Do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second it. Okay,
Who's
who's
it? Second.
Wedwig?
Mr. Wedwick?
You want to do voice vote on that one, or how do you want to do
I
it?
mean, it's probably gonna be.
Motion to table.
Just the table.
So you're
Okay, so
gonna
we got,
table,
we got a motion and a second to table. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. I'd call that you, oh, there was one no.
That's okay.
Okay. All right, so the motion to carry, to table carries. And were you making another
I
motion?
will make the motion to reconsider.
Okay, so we have a motion to reconsider the bonding
Resolution 920.
5925.
5925 initial resolution authorizing not to exceed 49.5 million general obligation promissory notes for jail and highway projects. So we got a motion and a second.
Does not have to be seconded by someone who voted.
So we got a motion to, still need a second though, right?
You need a second.
But it doesn't have to be. So we got a second by Mr. Moore already. We got a motion by Mr. Willingham and a second by Mr. Moore to bring that resolution back. All right.
Is the motion debatable?
Is there any discussion? All right.
The first and the second have to be made by no votes, or it doesn't matter?
Only the motion.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
All right, all in favor of bringing back the resolution? Yes. Go ahead and vote now.
Which one?
Oh, well, you're gonna have to,
bringing back the
oh,
resolution.
you can't.
This is-
Do it this way. Do it on. Do you want me to do a roll?
25.
Is it a roll call?
You want me to do a roll call, or you want me to do voice?
I would ask for a roll call.
Okay.
Roll call's fine.
Okay.
This is whether or not to reconsider, right?
Right.
So what we just voted down is now reconsidered because one of the people that.
If this,
voted no.
if this
Right, yeah.
passes, then we can vote again on the
Vote again.
Right. Okay. So, Ms. Voss,
Yes.
Mr. Kudo,
No.
Mr. Undershood. Well, not you. Mr. Ziesler. Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Meyer,
No.
Mr. Gorsinger,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent,
Yes.
Mr. Hanson,
Yes.
Ms. Good,
Yes.
Mr. Willingham,
Yes.
Mr. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Hampton,
Yes.
Mr. Biller,
Yes.
Ms. Halber,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Wedwig,
Yes.
and Mr. Undershood.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. So it's,
Okay, so 15 yes, passed by majority.
Count again, Mr.
On the floor.
Correct. So now you have resolution 59-25 back on the floor to debate if necessary, or to read.
Count that.
15 to 3.
3.
15 to 3, yes.
All right, is there any discussion on the resolution?
Again, I'm just, you sound like,
Okay, I'm gonna let, even though Mr. Willingham didn't hit it first since he brought the motion back, I'll let him jump in line here.
I'm sure I'm going to get the wishy-washy of the year award. And I've been somewhat persuaded by some of the debate. I'm really expecting that the board is, if the board is going to take it this way and this far, I'm really expecting the board to be just as diligent in making the additional decisions that have to be made. And particularly, you know, my objections with the highway department. I presume that that decision to sell the blacktop plant would have to be a board decision. And I again, I'm really uncomfortable with the whole situation, but I still think the jail plan is a bad plan. So, hopefully I won't have to ever live in it to find out.
No.
That's it.
Mr. Schneider?
Well-
Did you push your button?
Yeah.
Okay. A couple of these got canceled off, so I made a note. All right,
I'm up.
go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, I was a contractor. I did not do multi-million-dollar buildings. I wanted to know where the money was coming from unless I've known those people and grown up with them all my life. It made me nervous a couple of times. Part of the process is you go meet with their banker, you set up the program, you know the money's there. Everybody knows what the cash flow is, and then I put the bid in. I mean, this is everything, well, I didn't do it on two holders, but I did it on $300,000 plus houses, lake houses. So you gotta know the money's there before you're gonna get dedicated to bid it. It's the way it is.
Mr. Ziesler?
I just want to let Dave Willingham know, I sit also on the town of Grant, and we do not get any bids from the county that are less than we get from Monarch.
Right, but we're not talking about the blacktop plant.
Let me finish.
Let's keep it germane to the.
Right, but I'm also going to talk about the
If
blacktop.
you're wrapping it and make it quick.
Yes, okay. Also, Jack Tintera worked at the blacktop plant. And he always told me that the plant was twice the size what they actually need. Okay. So if this gentleman now is gonna sell it, so.
It's like 3 plants ago.
All right, Mr. Wedwick?
He was working.
Okay, we have talked about this death for 3 years. The jail and the highway shop both need to be done. If you delay them, in effect, you are voting for huge tax increases down the road, and you can do whatever you want to cover it up and say things, but with the construction costs going up, especially for the jail, and you delay it, you are going to be increasing the taxes down the road in just 2 or 3 years, much higher than what we have now. And we have a kind of a golden opportunity with the rates right now, and that they've been planning this to lower the debt so we can fit this debt in there without doing the yo-yo stuff and everything. And we've been over this many, many times. So a no vote is you're actually voting for much higher taxes down the road, and we're not talking very far down the road. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
So, been hearing this now for a couple of years, from Mr. Wedwick's point. The costs were gonna increase, can't remember the percentages, and interest was gonna go up. We need to get this done. I'm pretty sure, sitting here 2 years later, we're at pretty much the same dollar amount. I'm pretty sure we've been told that interest is going down. I just am really glad that some of you folks are going on the record for the public to hear that you have a problem with them with their taxes going down. So I guess next time, we'll see if it really bothered the public or not to hear those statements when there's an election process comes around the spring.
Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Oh, yeah. If not, I'll have Clerk Meyer call the roll.
Mr. Gorsinger.
Yes.
Which one are you voting on now?
A resolution that it was reconsidered.
5925?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes.
Mr. Hanson,
Yes.
Ms. Good,
Yes.
Mr. Willingham,
Yes.
Mr. Russell,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Hampton,
Yes.
Mr. Biller,
Yes.
Ms. Hulber,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Wedwick,
Yes.
Ms. Voss,
Yes.
Mr. Kudo,
No.
Mr. Ziesler,
No.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Meyer,
No.
and Mr. Undershood.
No.
5, 6, 7, 13, 14 to 4. Motion passes.
Passed by 3/4 majority. All right, now would be a good time to bring back the other agenda item that we discussed.
Yep, 60-25.
Okay, so now we have on the table again 6025, which was tabled, authorizing CUNY Architects and Venture Architects of Samuels Group to seek bids for the highway facility and jail projects. And we already have a motion by Mr. Willingham and a second by Mr. Moore.
You have to have a motion to take it off the table.
I was going to just have them do that unless there's some objection, we'll take that up now.
You can make
What's that? That's what I told him. So,
that one voice vote.
he asked if we needed a motion. I said, but I told you that if there's no objection, take it off the table and you'll retake this one up now.
Not a-
Somebody's going to make.
Okay, is there any objections to keeping it as is? A motion by Mr. Willingham, second by Mr. Moore. All right, is there any discussion? Any more discussion? We've all had our discussion now. Go ahead and vote.
Never successfully talked. Supervisor vote.
15 yes, passed by majority. Great. Next on the agenda, I am going to skip over 6125 and jump to 6225, which will be appointing the Russ County Finance Director. If there's no objections to me on that agenda, I'll go back to 6125 after this. We got a motion by Mr. Biller and a second by Mr. Russell. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, HR's here.
Yep. Okay, so this resolution is seeking to hire a finance director. So if you guys will recall, the vacancy was created on February 15th of 2025, was when our previous finance director was done. So we had posted the job for quite a long period of time. The ad hoc interviewing committee did meet and conduct those interviews, and they recommended Beata Hogg for appointment as the finance director. The interviewing committee, just so you're aware, for that appointed position, it consisted of the county board chair, the personnel committee chair, and the finance committee chair, along with myself as HR, and then our administrative coordinator. So a little bit of background, she brings over 15 years of leadership in governmental finance, including her current role right now as the chief financial officer and county auditor of Dunn County. She has extensive experience in countywide financial oversight, in budgeting, forecasting, debt issuance, and compliance with accounting standards. She also holds a doctorate degree in business administration, a master's in project management, and then a bachelor's degree in accounting. And she is currently an adjunct professor at Lakeland University in Chippewa Falls. So the wage that was requested by Ms. Hogg exceeded step 7 of the county's wage scale. And if you guys will recall, we only have authority as administration to offer up to step 7. So this did go to the personnel committee. And after review, the personnel committee authorized a placement of step 16, which would be $50.03, finding that this level was both necessary to successfully recruit and then to retain her, and it was appropriate given her extensive experience and credentials. So passing this resolution would formally appoint Beata Hogg as the finance director at the approved step 16 wage and would allow her to begin her duties no later than November 10th, as the plan would be for her to give her notice at her current employer after the appointment tonight.
Any discuss, Mr. Russell?
So, story from the past. Years ago, I was running a plant in Eau Claire, and we needed someone to take us to the next level. So we put some feelers out, and a fellow showed up that was familiar with the terminology, a Lean Six Sigma black belt, which at the time was probably a six-figure job. And we knew he wasn't going to stay, but the only reason he came to us was he wanted to move back to the area because he had family in the area and he wanted to reconnect. So we shot him a number, and he stayed for a couple of years. But in those 2 years, the level of the organization went probably 10 steps ahead. This person is that person. We will not recognize the finance part of this business and also the skill level of the managers, department managers here who are struggling to manage their budget. She conducts classes in that right now on how to do that. And one of her goals, and she knew everything about this county. You could not ask her a question that she did not have the answer to. And knew that we were struggling in some areas, but she was impressed with our fund balance for a small rural county. She thought that was great, although we keep rating it. She's going to take us to a level that somebody, just a normal person coming in off the street that has all the degrees, would not be able to do, because she brings a level of passion for her job and the training that she wants to do with the people and how she wants to make them better, thus making the counter better. She was just fun to talk to. She's going to make us all better. Please vote yes. It's going to be great.
Ms. Foss?
Do we know how many hours approximately she would be working?
It's a full-time position, so 38.75 hours per week is what the salary is set at.
I agree with everything Mr. Russell said. Any more, Mr. Vincent?
I won't speak on behalf of the finance chair, but from my experience on the finance committee, while Baker Tilly has been phenomenal in bridging the gap, they are expensive and their hourly rate is over $200 an hour. So this represents a substantial decrease in the hourly rate that we are currently paying for these services.
Any more discussion? Mr. Willingham?
Very quickly, I just want the rest of the board to know that the Personnel Committee's recommendation was not unanimous. And I think we've been consistently inconsistent with the whole principle of how much we pay people, how much we're willing to pay people. And it seems like we've had a couple of internal issues where people have asked for more money and we've said, no, we can't do that. And then someone comes from the outside that we don't know, may have an excellent resume and may be a very, very good find for us. And all of a sudden we're willing to exceed the guidelines that we have set for how we determine the salaries. And it just, this inconsistency is, we've been talking a lot about our recruitment and retention situation that it's costing us, good people because we don't pay well. And then we set guidelines and then we don't follow them. And here is a big example of not following them. And maybe this may be the cost benefit may be we're going to have a lot of continuing dissatisfaction with other employees who have been passed over for similar situations, and we've said no. Now all of a sudden we're saying yes. So that's why I voted no in committee, and probably will just abstain from the vote tonight. So.
I don't disagree with Mr. Willingham that we've been inconsistent at times in the past. Sometimes you only get an opportunity like this every decade or once in a lifetime, and I would not want to have this person turn this offer down because we played around and decided instead to take the chance that we pay Baker Tilly more money rather than offering what this person's worth. Mr. Russell.
Everything he said is right, and everything you said is right. We have to fix that problem. That's a huge problem, and it really pisses people off when this type of thing happens, but this is not the time to worry about that.
Mr. Wedwick?
My question is meant as neutral, but is she a CPA?
Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Hearing none, go ahead and vote now. $16 yes, passed by majority. Okay, now we're on to authorize an extension of interim finance director services with Baker Tilly. We have a motion. We have a motion by Mr. Wedwick, second by Mr. Meyer. And Mr. Russell, do we have an end date?
It's not necessarily the date, it's the amount of money. So it's a not to exceed $66,000.
It also says in there 4 months.
Yeah.
Right, but we blew past that because we didn't spend it as fast as we thought they would the first time.
But I thought the new one said also.
So what's left?
So the initial one you guys approved, I think, was through April. And obviously, we made that money last a lot longer. So what's left is virtually nothing. That's why this, I had this discussion with the finance chair, what we want to do to bridge the gap before Beata can join us.
Okay.
Yep.
So day one for her is the last day for Baker Tilly?
The way I wrote the resolution is that would be up to the finance committee when they feel they can end that.
She's going to be training now.
Yeah, my personal opinion is that Sky and Tanya are probably going to be doing most of the training because she's got the finance stuff down. She just needs the Rusk County training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thought was
there is a
allow her to have accessibility to Baker Tilly. I'm hoping that she can make that call and not use them any more than she needs to.
Yeah, okay.
That's my thought behind it, but
okay.
Mr. Kudo?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I just want to make sure that I've read that correctly or understood it correctly. So basically that 60, what was it, 66? Mm-hmm. Yeah, for 4 months or whatever. The way I kind of take this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of like they're there to help her transition into our situation here.
Yeah, so like I said, For the original contract, you guys approved a set amount. I think it was $110,000. It's Resolution 1025, if you guys want to pull that up. And Tanya and Sky have done just a stellar job taking on a lot of work. Kristen has taken on work. I have, Ashley has. So we were able to make that money stretch. We are to the point right now, though, in the middle of the budget cycle where we are hitting that cap. So if we don't approve anything tonight, then you guys can adjust it however you see fit. But if we don't approve anything tonight, we won't have Chris anymore to take us through that budget hearing. So then once Beata comes on, my guess is that they will be utilizing Baker Tilly much less.
So when I'm wondering, are we committed to pay that 66,000?
No, we only pay what we incur.
Okay. All right. That was my concern.
Mr. Freeman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My objection to this is clearly the amount. Given that the new finance director is going to come on no later than November 10th, the fact that the $110,000 that was authorized by Resolution 10-25 in January is already up by the end of September, basically. I don't know what's left because they haven't billed for the work in September. That will come out shortly because tonight is the month end. I just can't see spending another $66,000. And I realize that they're just going to bill it, but my experience has been that 110 went really fast. That was supposed to last at about 10,000 a month. And here we are at the end of September. We've gone through 110,000, which was supposed to last till December. And we're coming back and needing 66,000 more. I just can't support that.
Mr. Wedwick?
It was my understanding that that 110,000 was for 4 months.
I believe so.
And you've stretched it for, what, 9 months? And again, the 66,000, it's not going to be paid to them unless it's used and it's on an as-needed basis. And that's really kind of train her in and answer her questions and everything. So they might only spend 10,000 of it. Right.
All right, any more discussion? Any more discussion? For a second.
No, that's fine.
All right, if there's no more discussion, you can go ahead and vote now. Seventeen yes, passed by majority. All right, next on the agenda, we got proclaiming October 2025 as Fair Housing Month in Russ County.
So this is, do you all remember when you approved the CDBG planning grant? So we could move forward with our comprehensive plan. This is a partnership with Northwest Regional Planning Commission. Does everyone remember that? We passed like 4 resolutions. Okay, so this is one of the requirements of getting that federal funding, is that they have asked that the chair, through an action of the county board, proclaim that October of 2025 is Fair Housing Month in Russ County. There were 2 other stipulations to this. Northwest Regional Planning Commission did run an ad in the Ladysmith News, and they also asked the clerks to post fair housing posters and the libraries as well. So do you want to speak to the details or? Okay.
So I should have recognized, we got a motion by Mr. Russell and a second by Mr. Moore. So the resolution states, whereas the year 2025 marks the 57th anniversary of Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, known as the Civil Rights Fair Housing Act, and whereas the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988 seeks to provide equal housing opportunities to affirmatively further housing choices to eliminate legal barriers to equal housing and to emphasize equal housing as a fundamental right for all. Whereas individuals in Rusk County have the right to choose where to live without discrimination based on age, sex, race, color, national origin, ancestry, disability, religion, sexual orientation, marital status, family status, lawful source of income, and status as a victim of domestic abuse, sexual assault, stalking. Resolved that I, Phil Undershoots, County Board of Supervisors, Chairman of Rusk County, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2025 as Fair Housing Month. Are there any questions?
So, you want to amend it?
Trudeau.
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So is October the only month that we offer fair housing?
No, it's just a month to draw attention.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Vincent.
I may not know, but how much money, do you know how much money we get for this?
So it's the total cost of the comprehensive plan will be $75,000 and it's a 2/3. So the grant is paying 50 grand and then 25,000 is coming out of the mining fund.
Any more discussion? Any more discussion? If not, go ahead and vote now.
We got it.
18 yes, passed by majority.
We didn't.
Good now. Next on the agenda, we got approved creation of economic development and tourism specialist. Would you want to speak to that? Oh, we got a motion by Mr. Russell and a second by Ms. Halber.
Okay, perfect. So this is for the creation of an economic development and tourism specialist for Rusk County. So it started off that the Joint Tourism Committee identified that there was a need for this position dedicated to advancing economic development and tourism initiatives here in the county. And so they directed that a job description be prepared for this. So I gathered job descriptions from similar counties and towns to see what they are doing for that, and then created this similar job description for Rusk County and took it to the Joint Tourism Committee. They approved that, and then it went to personnel who did a few minor revisions. And then from there, the position was submitted to Cottingham and Butler for placement on the county wage scale. They assigned it to a grade 14. The purpose of the position is to coordinate and implement programs that support a broad range of economic development and tourism initiatives, including business retention, recruitment, and expansion, as well as the promotion of Rusk County's amenities, events, and visitor opportunities. So the position will work collaboratively with businesses, the chamber, entrepreneurs, local government, and regional partners to position Rusk County as a desirable place to live, work, and visit. So funding for wages and benefits has been incorporated into the proposed 2026 economic development budget, and the Finance Committee has recommended approval contingent upon the final passage of the 2026 county budget. So passage of this resolution tonight would create that position of economic development and tourism specialist and authorize HR to post and fill the position upon passage of the budget. So it would not be posted until the budget passed. And then we would hire the position in accordance with our county hiring policies and procedures that are laid out in our handbook.
Thank you. I think this is super important that we start putting our foot forward for economic development. I mean, we got Geldwin closing, we got all kinds of businesses that are closing. We need somebody working on our team to attract businesses and to help retain businesses, to establish a relationship with the businesses. I think this is one of the most important positions we can have in this county right now. Ms. Voss.
I agree. But I'm just asking, what type of an education do we want?
Yeah, so the job description, we did lay that out. So I think originally it started as a bachelor's, and I think we moved that right away at joint tourism down to an associate. So associate's degree in business management, marketing, travel and tourism, public administration, public relations, communications, or a related field, but we will consider equivalent combinations of education and experience.
Mr. Snyder?
I see according to the thing that reports to the administrative coordinator, but is there a committee that's overseer of this? I saw personnel listed in here in the beginning, but,
Finance committee.
okay. That's all I need.
Any more discussion? Any more discussion? If not, go ahead and vote now. $18 yes, passed by majority. Next on the agenda, we got Resolution 6525 establishing revised fees for the Rusk County Treasurer's Office. Do we have a motion to bring this? We got a motion by Mr. Meyer and a second by Mr. Russell.
So this is something that the treasurer brought to the last finance committee. She noted that the fees in her office hadn't been looked at, I believe, in over a decade. If anyone from finance remembers, over a decade. It had been quite a long time. So what she proposed was an increase to get the fees a little bit better aligned with public records law. So between the treasurer, corp counsel, and myself, what we came up with here was an increase in the full tax rolls and splitting the costs. So it used to just be one cost, but now she is seeing people asking for digital versus paper copies. So she wants to kind of split that out. The per municipality tax roll, again, the current is the bullet point under the top bullet point. So an increase in that, an increase in the delinquent tax list, customized reports, and the research fee. And we put in a disclaimer there that we are going to keep those research fees consistent with Wisconsin public records law, which stipulates that you can only charge the actual necessary and direct costs.
Any discussion? Mr. Kudo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So can you help me understand that under research fee, the bullet, it says current fee, $5 minimum for employee time, up to $20 per hour if the fee is more than $50?
Sure, so that comes directly from public record law. If the cost to locate records is only $40, we can't charge for that. But if that cost hits $50, then you can charge for that. And the old fee schedule said it would be a minimum of a $5 an hour fee up to a maximum of 20. And that really doesn't align great with the public records law, which stipulates that you have to have the actual necessary and direct costs, which is typically the lowest paid salary and benefits in the department.
So in order for us to bill, it has to cost 50 or more?
Yes.
Correct. For locating.
Yeah. Yes.
Any more discussion?
I want to make an amendment.
All right, we have a.
Did it register on your end?
Yep.
We did it? Okay. I think it would be prudent, and we did a presentation earlier in finance, to put in our own things that we bring to the board, that this would be reviewed every year in May. So line 29. I think we passed this before we had that discussion in finance last time. So I would like to change that to every year, it'd be reviewed by finance every year in May.
Instead of every even year, strike even, and then change July to May.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion to amend by Mr. Meyer and a second by Mr. Russell. Is that the amendment or not? Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Review every what?
Every
May.
year, strike even in May.
Got it.
Great. We got a motion to amend by Mr. Meyer. Do we get a second on the amendment? We got a second by Mr. Russell. Any discussion on the amendment? Any discussion? All right. If not, you can go ahead and vote on the amendment only, which would be to change, to strike even, and just say every year, and change July to May. 18 yes, passed by majority. Now we're on to the main motion to establish revised fees for the Russell County Treasurer's Office. We have a second on the table. Is there any more discussion? Any more discussion? Not, go ahead and vote now. $18 yes, passed by majority. Next on the agenda, we have discussions and possible motion amendment to Corporation Council Services Contract.
So I propose,
I should get a,
no, let me do that first, because then they can make a motion to adopt the amendment which is provided. So I brought this proposal to the Personnel Committee last Wednesday, I believe. Due to reasons I'd rather not disclose, I would like to reduce my work for the county. Currently, I do a whole bunch of things for the county. The proposal that I believe the amendment got emailed out to you on Monday mid-afternoon would be that the services that I provide to the county are only going to be health and human services, which would be Chapter 51 mental commitments, Chapter 54 guardianship proceedings, and Chapter 55 protective placement proceedings. On an annual basis, I complete what they call as a PARS report, which goes through and attempts to allocate time for all of the services that I provide. The $47,000 that's for the health and human services is based upon the PARS report reporting that I do approximately 50% of my time for health and human services. So that is 50% of the current wage for the Corporation Council that I provide. So the amendment that I believe you guys all had provided for 50% reduction in the pay and then only doing the services of health and human services.
I see this changes it for a 90-day notice given by either party where you're.
Correct. And so
previous, I think, was you had to be 90 days of January 1st.
Correct. So again, the reason for the 90 days is I'm probably involved in 50 to 75 court cases. In the event that those services are terminated, that's going to take some time to transfer all of those cases or those court cases to a different attorney. So unless there's questions, somebody can make a motion to adopt that amendment.
We got a motion by Mr. Russell to adopt the amendment before us and a second by Mr. Wedwick. Is there any more discussion? Mr. Kudo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm just curious, how do you know that you know you spend 50% here and 50% there? I'm just curious.
Well, it's completely up to this report that I do, and I've submitted since I've been here 20 years, and so that's where it comes from. It's self-reporting.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Willingham?
So my question is, if I understand correctly, the contract generally renews without, if we don't petition to change, right?
Correct.
So it's my understanding that we're amending the contract now, and that unless we decide to do something different, it would, the new contract, or the contract would continue on as amended?
Right, for just the health and human services provision.
I mean, but beyond the end of the year and on into.
Right, and a 90-day termination.
So, okay, that's what I wanted to know, whether we were just amending it for the rest of this year or, and then doing something different, or what?
No, because like we talked about at personnel, we gave you 3 options of what you guys are going to do for the RFP for other legal services going forward, and what you choose to do, we'll pick up those pieces later.
I understand.
Any more discussion? Mr. Vincent?
Does this mean we may have a different person sitting in the chair during the board meetings?
You will, yes, it's a guarantee.
Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Not? Go ahead and vote now. Eighteen yes, passed by majority.
As I told Mr. Summerfield in our Personnel Committee meeting, I will miss arguing with him.
Thank you.
I thought it was pointing out when he's wrong.
Yes, yes.
Wasn't that how it was?
Right.
Having you second the motion.
All right, next we got announcements. We got the next county board meeting date of October 28, 2025. Does anybody else have any announcements?
So I don't know if it's approving our announcement, there's some stuff said here tonight. That's it now.
No. Their agenda items now. Any, go ahead.
I'm Wisconsin County Forestry Association, and we had relatively good news in the last week. Hayward is going to build a mill, make aviation fuel, 1.5 at this point, $1 billion project. It will help some of ours, as well as the fact, don't tell me if I get this wrong, it's Tilda Chip Mill in Shawano County. That was brought out by a partnership cooperative that was put together by basically the Great Lakes timber producers. And so that has been bought. More to hear about that in the future. But it's going to be good for our forests, some of it, so.
For our airplanes.
Talked to someone from,
Going to Europe because they can't use fossil
We don't
fuel.
use it on our airplanes.
talked to somebody from Sawyer County, and they're moving forward with, Sawyer County is in their support, so.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? When is the November board meeting? And budget?
They've already got Hayward.
Second Tuesday.
There's three of us.
I don't have that right in front of me.
Only
Only got October.
November 11th.
I think you want to review the statute.
I already, yeah, it cannot happen on Veterans
And
Day.
have it on Veterans Day, so
Yeah, I got it.
just wanted to make sure.
Was there something with IT that they wanted to reprogram?
Yes.
You leave your laptops.
Leave your laptops, they want to update your computers.
This was the meeting.
And then also, just a reminder, I sent you guys this, there is a economic development forum in Warehouser tomorrow at the VFW, so if you haven't seen that yet, check your emails for that information.
We can't check them now.
Yeah, we can't check it.
Tony, you can take yours home.
Call me tomorrow.
Dingy dingy.
Any more announcements? If not, by Mr. Miller, second by Mr. Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
I can't tell you. All right, we're adjourned at 8:42.
Kate.